Hello, it's Ruth, otherwise known as the Delightful Planner, and I'm back with a video today about a collection I have maintained from the beginning of my bullet journal journey back in December 2015 that's worked for me all the way through to February 2018, but it's due to be updated. And that collection is how I track my pain medication. Now, this may sound like a bit of an odd blog. Odd blog? That's not a word. This may sound like a bit of an odd topic, but on my blog, the most popular post I've ever posted about, the one I still get regular comments and people messaging me about, is all about how I use the bullet journal system to revolutionise my health. In fact, the whole reason I got into bullet journaling originally, you know what, I'll take this one away because that's my current Hobonichi. The whole reason I started my bullet journal journey back in December 2015 was because I have chronic back pain, and at that point in time it was so bad I was actually housebound. I was unable to work, and the thing I swear by that helped me get back in control of my condition and that got me back on track is the bullet journal system. So I thought today I'd walk you through how it's worked with me with a video. So, got to remember, this is very early days. How I originally started out was trying to log how my pain was, because it locates itself in my back and my right hip, although they found out really it's my lower back. Was trying to track how each part of the day felt, both in the morning, afternoon, evening, trying to log back to activities I was doing, particularly walking and driving, and other mainly involved sort of housework and things like that. Things you wouldn't normally think of as being that physical activities were sort of a big thing for me to be doing then. This was rather sort of heavily involved, but it's what I needed to do in those days. And I was also just trying to find a system that worked for me. The one that I started then, and I've mostly maintained, I can pop this out of the way, is how I've recorded how I take my medication. So here I could track how many pills I was taking at particular times a day. So I will just grab a pen so it's a bit easier to see. Right, so if we look at the cross at the top here, these aren't actually pills. These are the times I was taking them. So at that point I was taking my codeine and paracetamol, which are both painkillers, at 6 AM, 10 AM, 2 PM, 6 PM and 10 PM, which is actually, and this shows how foggy I was with my brain, didn't realise I was taking too much paracetamol at this point. Though thankfully I was fine. I was also trying to note down any other symptoms I was having. I've blocked some of that off because it would definitely be in the too much information category. And I sort of tweak the system so that this is January 2015. So that if we go to here, did I tweak it? All right, these are other collections that I used to help manage my pain as well. I was also monitoring what physio I was doing. And I was also tried noting my activities in a different way, because I was finding if I had them all in that great big double spread, it was almost sort of taking up too much space. So I had it tracked here. And then I tried to log it in a different way. So we're back here again. Is this the January I might be into now? Would have helped, wouldn't it, had I written the month on the top. I'll have it noted further through. Where again you can see I'm trying to do the AM, PM, evening. Here I tried to use a traffic light system, so if I'd had good time with my back and my hip, it was green, sort of meh. Not great, but not terrible. It was the amber colour, and if it was very painful and bad and inflamed, I did it in the, well, I suppose it's the pink, isn't it? That's what I've gotten wrong with my back. I can't remember why I wrote it down there. Probably to remind me what it was, and also because I can't pronounce it. So it's sacroiliac joint dysfunction, or SJD, as I prefer to call it, because then it doesn't show my hideous pronunciation. There we go. Now this, we must be in January. Right, so this is January 2016, and this is how I began to track how I was taking the painkillers I was on. And this is a system I maintained from January 2016 all the way through to February 2018. And it's really worked for me because I found it was good. I found that I could see from this here the times when my back was good and bad. So I didn't actually need to start noting down here and trying to traffic light what I'd been doing and what times it was, because actually you could see when it was good and bad from the amount of pills I was taking. So I did the same sort of traffic light system, but basically I just sort of set the bar as what's the norm. Well, the norm was for me to be taking 2 of my codeine pills, and therefore anything below that I'll put in green, whether it's a 1 or if I've not put anything, it's a 0. And anything above the 2 is highlighted in red to basically go, right, that's a flare-up. And I found this incredibly helpful, not just for myself and being able to spot patterns. What I actually found it really helpful was when I had to go to doctor's appointments and trying to figure out how we could get me on the right regime so that I could get back to work. And if you turn up to your doctors, I've said it time and time again, with a chart and colour coordinated systems, 1, it makes it easier for you to explain what's going on, and 2, it makes it easier for them to listen, I suppose, in a way, because they know you know what you're talking about. I was still tracking my symptoms here as well. I've just covered up the particularly gross ones because, again, too much information. So that's my first bullet system. Can't speak. This was my first bullet journal system, so you can see it there. And I kept the system going through bullet journal 2. There, let's get myself in the right order. 3. Helps so I get them the right way around. 4, and in the one I'm in right now, number 5. I had to tweak the system slightly when I moved into the Hobonichi system in 2017, and this is what I've shown before, where I transferred monitoring my medication in the 6-month, almost like yearly spread. So you get the 6 months here where you can track it all and get that really big long overview, and then you turn it over and get another 6 months. And this was very good for being able to spot those patterns. But what I started to notice at the beginning of this year is that a lot of this information I didn't need anymore, because while I'm still using the traffic light system for marking, oh look, red, green, mainly that's all being used on the codeine side, because paracetamol was basically all 2s. The only times it's anything less than a 2 is because we've run out. So that's not actually me getting any additional information about my health and the condition. That's just we ran out of paracetamol and couldn't get to the shops in time. I also started to find it wasn't accurately reflecting how my back was feeling, because while I might be able to track, oh, you took extra pills at these times, most of the times you'll actually notice, see like here, it's in the evening or the later times, and that's not because my back was particularly bad then, it's because that's when I could take the pills then. Because if I take any more than 2 codeine, I know I shouldn't be behind the wheel of a car, so I don't go behind the wheel of a car. So if I have to drive, I don't take the extra painkillers, regardless of whether I need them or not. So that brings us to 2018, where I became aware that the system sort of needed tweaking, and I've been thinking about it. And I went back in to go and see the doctor to have a pain review, because basically I was saying, look, you know, I've been monitoring, I've been tracking, but the times where I had to wake up in the middle of the night to maybe take some extra painkillers weren't being noted down on here, because I just had the 4 slots, because I'd gotten used to, at this point, to taking pills at 6 a.m, 10 a.m, 3 p.m, and then again at sort of like 8 or 9 p.m. at night. It just depended. So I was now down to just taking the painkillers 4 times a day. But if I had a flare-up and I was waking up in the middle of the night and needing to take painkillers, I had no way of noting that on here. And I also had the discussion with him saying, look, There's times where I needed more painkillers but wasn't taking them because I need to be able to drive. So I've been looking at it this month and just realising that okay, I note down when I take the paracetamol, but that's not really giving me any additional information. So come March, I'm looking at changing the system, and I'm giving it a bit of a try out now, where what I'm trying to do is instead note down the codeine. So I've got it there where taking it at 6 a.m, I now take it at 11 a.m, then 4 p.m, and then at 10 o'clock, because that's the time I go to bed, because one of the things the doctor's given me now is a pain modifier, and I can only take that when I'm literally laying in bed and about to go to sleep, because it knocks me out, at least initially. And I also want to start noting down, like rating my pain levels. So I want to be able to note down the highest pain level I've had that day, as well as the lowest pain level I've had that day. You know, a bit like they do when they do weather reports. So that, you know, they go, today the high temperatures are going to be, you know, 16 degrees and the lows are going to be 3 o'clock at night. I'm going to try and do that with my pain levels. I thought about trying to do a graph, but I thought if you had to try and sort of note it down constantly where your pain levels were, I've tried doing that off and on my dailies, and I'm not very good at it. So I was going to try tweaking it to this. So I hope if people have been watching this, if you've got a chronic condition, hopefully this has got information in that you'll find helpful. If you've got any questions, please ask me in the comments below. And if you've got any ideas on any ways there could be any improvements, again, just shout out in the comments below and let me know. I've got to say, I've had a lot of discussions going on, not only in the blog, but also people messaging me from when I put my blog post on. And we've all been sharing really good ideas, because it's just good to be able to get that sharing. I think a lot of the time we use the bullet journal systems and the planning to talk about productivity for how to get things done. But what I've noticed is a lot of us also have other things going on in our lives that may be medical conditions or pain conditions, and it'd be good to get a good discussion about that going. So if you want to message me, you can do that. I know I personally found the bullet journal system revolutionary for getting me in control of my health again. So I hope people have found this video useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up to help other people find this video, and think about hitting that subscribe button if you'd like to see any more of my videos in the future. And I hope you have a good week. I'll see you next time. Thanks now. Bye.